we are back, but we were actually discussing some good stuff. Uh, but yeah,
Hands up, unfortunately.
අයෝ වෙලාම දෙවනාන
වෙලා වදිනා මොකද්ද මලින්?
මට කියන්න බෑ මොකද හරියට වෙලා මැනේජ් කරන්න වෙනවා. නිසා මොනවාද නිසා?
මම දන්නේ මම එක්සයිට් වෙලා ඉතින් මම කතා කරගෙන ඉන්නේ.
Yeah, we get high pitched when we get mad at each other.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, whose group goes first?
Pure Miss face that is a meme in itself.
That's me. She embarrassed?
Yeah.
No. Be careful, guys. She's gonna beat me up tonight if she gets mad.
Yeah, don't insult people or anything.
What?
Challenger on a game of VR, it's non-violent.
Oh no.
No, like trust me, there's nothing non-violent about domestic abuse.
Yeah. Look at her. She's already plotting.
Okay.
Tonight. Yeah.
Okay, Chris, your group?
Yeah. So we had like 2 ideas. That's what. Yeah, Jonathan, Okita will share. Yeah. So maybe Okita can start, and then Jonathan. Maybe lose Okita.
No, I'm here. So one of the ideas that we were discussing was mainly about how misinformation gets spread and how that's sort of interesting, and we wanted to explore that. And we sort of looked at this one aspect where misinformation is born. So it's born like it was discussed before. It's born where people get confused or they don't know what's happening there. So they sort of assume these theories and these are spread around. So looking into that, we thought that this person probably like in a room sees something or like watches some sort of news and forms a theory around it and sends it to someone, and then that person interprets it as fact. And because of that, apart from the spectrum, which not complexifying it, but which we can call like a spectrum of fact or something, but it can be just like a normal text chain. It's a line. And out of that line, this small person is born, this small character, which is misinformation. So this person can, be developed further and like have flat earths on his jacket or different things could be incorporated into the character. But the moment that character is born, that character is like at a very small level, and this person sort of spreads this theory around. And the moment that person spreads this theory, that theory sort of gets developed into a forward, like saying like these different things, and then saying, please share this message, it's very important. And then that sort of just blasts it all around. And that character sort of gets more and more developed and like gets much larger and is like much more stronger. And it comes to this person who necessarily like wants to be like, okay, can I fact check this? And they go to like a fact checking website, or they check it from a trusted news website. And then that person sort of gets into a discussion saying, no, this is actually not true. And because of that, that character sort of gets like much more smaller and gets like this very small point of like a small position. And because of that, it's just showing that misinformation is like deemed by that entire like solution. Yeah, that's the main premise of that idea.
Thanks, Okita.
Thanks, Eddie.
Hi, I'll be presenting the next idea. I hope you all can hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so next idea we were discussing was this idea which revolves around the echo chamber, right? So we wanted to have characters where we won't go too deep into the character, but you essentially have the character, they would be on their phone or something, and you could see these bubbles of information moving up, like an article name or like a headline, could see it popping up, and you could essentially see like the VFX bubble forming around them, right? That shows they're in this chamber. And there will be or any sort of movement, I'm not sure. But you can essentially see more people coming into this bubble and the bubble getting bigger. So we visually show how it creates this space where everybody thinks something is true. And we sort of roll it that you can see these articles popping up, and we sort of create a narrative, and that idea is visualized through the bubble. And what we would have to do is have like a fact checker come with maybe like a pin and sort of burst that bubble. So yeah, that was the second idea very briefly. I don't think we'll get any words involved in it, but yeah, that's
Right.
visually what's happening.
Nice. Great ideas, guys.
Yeah,
So
that's
does anyone have any feedback for both the ideas? The first one is the misinformation Incredible Hulk who keeps growing and growing. And the second one is like the echo chamber bubble, right? So kids, can we hear from you guys? What do you guys feel? Any more ideas to add on to this or any feedback? Little bit, yeah.
Yeah, we also kind of yes. No, we also kind of discussed like maybe this is just another idea that came up. Like we could like make our own deepfake, like the whole Obama Jordan Peele thing. But then we decided that it will just only be about deepfake and not like the larger aspect of misinformation. But yeah,
And
we could, like,
still,
do that.
We could do it though with that person just talking about misinformation in general, not just deepfakes. So that I think it's a valid idea. It will be kind of fun to make a deepfake. Cool.
Dunit
So
was going to say something.
Nothing
yeah.
much. It's just like to add like personality to the character, like misinformation. Like it could be that in certain cases they don't intend to harm, but you do like pass on misinformation, which means that like I don't know how to visually represent it, but like how the person is like going through experiences and inadvertently kind of passing these messages through to other people. And also you could link things like the power dynamic and things like confidence with like the more people share whatever, the kind of confidence and the power that the person has props up. So like different representations of like lots of aspects of misinformation.
Yeah.
all right. So next group, Nishan.
All right. So our ideas didn't come out with a specific scenario. I'd say we discussed. Yeah, we discussed specific scenarios, but we didn't come up with like a really cohesive concept. But I'll tell you where we were headed once maybe Sahansa or Anuj just explains the two things that we were talking about. I think one thing was breaking the chain, and the other thing is just being gullible on the internet. Maybe so. I think breaking the chain thing. Maybe Sahansa can talk about it, and then maybe being gullible, Anuj can talk about it. Sahansa, maybe you can go first.
Yeah, so basically where like we were kind of talking about how one person starts spreading information that's false to other people because they're like obviously gullible and they don't understand and they don't know that it's false. But like throughout this whole thing, when they send it to like a bunch of people, one person realizes it's fake and like kind of stops doing it, and that kind of breaks the chain. So if a lot of people start doing that, then like less misinformation would be spread.
So adding to that, one or other direction that we were going with in that was that someone mentioned Rahas culture. I think.
Oh yeah,
Dimuthu.
that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dimuthu also mentioned,
Uh,
I think. So it's how you see the progression of misinformation, right? It starts with one person, whispering something or to one group or one another person, and how that progressively just becomes this massive cluster of misinformation towards the end, where you might not even recognize the initial information or misinformation that started spreading. So that was one sort of direction that we were going with our concept, and how to break that. And then the other one, I think Anuj came up with one of his experiences on how he was roped into clicking a link. Anuj, if you can if you can explain to us about it.
Yeah, so there was this ad in WhatsApp. So one of my friends sent it to me. It was about this Cadbury ad that they told that they're gonna give us free chocolates and stuff. So I was small, so I just clicked it, and it came that there's no price for that, and it just went for like I searched it in Wikipedia, and they said that when you eat the chocolate, that you turn into pigs when you're older.
So
So
Wikipedia was
yeah, so I thought that the Wikipedia also sometimes gives me misinformation. So yeah, and that was
Yeah.
my experience. So and I was thinking about like this man who believes like all of this misinformation, like he's this dumb guy who just believes in everything. He clicks everything, he forwards everything, even like even if someone sends him like, oh, if you don't send this, your mom is gonna die, and he just does it. Then I was thinking about something like that for an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just imagine
Great.
this.
That's it.
So yeah, thanks, Anand. So imagine a guy, right? Imagine
There's
this.
there's
this
a
dude.
classic one. Only 1 in 10 people will share this
We'll
message.
share this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you are one of them, like what
Yeah.
are you going to be silent?
So imagine this dude who looks like some baller, like hustling. He's just hustling on his phone, just forwarding text, clicking on links, and be like, yeah, Masham, I just entered this competition. I won an iPhone and not twice. I can't wait. I'm so stressed out and all that. So just imagine a character like that, and how he progressively becomes weirder and weirder.
Like I'm expecting a big shipment of gold from Nigeria.
Yeah.
The Nigerian prince.
With this boat issue, it's getting held up at customs.
Yeah. So and this person can reach out to his friends like, Masha, I know a person from Nigeria. I can hook you up, Masha. I can hook you up. That you can get a shipment of whatever. So imagine a story around a character around that.
Yeah,
Anuj
I
could
think,
have easily become that character, but Anuj was smart. Anuj was like, no, this
he
is
broke the
wrong.
chain.
He broke the chain. He broke the chain.
Yeah.
Good on you,
No.
Anuj.
I think in general this whole video has the potential to be comical, and I think that's where because actually in real life also that's what happens, right? We eventually realize that we feel like if we shared something, we feel like, oh shit, like we feel really stupid. And that's, so I think in general we are going towards like a lighter comic kind of light-hearted kind of thing, and that's a better way, I think, to give the message as well. Especially initially we talked about how nobody really wants to feel like, nobody wants to take the information from a smart ass. So kind of laugh with them, like we've all been through this kind of vibe. So I think that's good, really
Also,
good stuff.
I think
Thanks, Anuj. Thanks,
that is awesome.
yeah.
Also, I think like because all our videos are like serious.
Very serious. I think this is a
it'll
good
be
chance to be like.
And I have feeling like addiction is going to be serious. Also.
Yeah.
So this might be a good chance to make something fun.
So Sahans actually mentioned, in our chat, it can be maybe an old person. It starts off just very innocently, where this old person just forwards a WhatsApp message or something, and progressively you see that person just becoming this misinformation hustler.
So that sounds really promising, Nishan. You might actually get to feature in
Get a
this
chance
video.
to act.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. I can be that person.
Cool.
Right.
Sanjay?
We were also halfway through, but we can go. Yeah.
Yeah, so we were, yeah, as Piyumi said, we were kind of halfway through, and everyone was kind of struggling for, couldn't quite put their finger on an idea. Some of the things that came up were maybe an idea around an influencer who shares some information about some product or maybe pushes some product, and then, or just some news, right? And then a lot of people believe it and act on it, and there is some kind of detriment, right? So this is just like a broad concept. And then it's subsequently fact-checked and that information is shared, but the lie is so popular that no one listens to the fact-check anymore. So people are just like,
sensationalized. Really.
It's kind of, I don't know, I just thought like when I just said it out loud, it was like this emperor's new clothes kind of thing, right? Like everyone says, oh yeah, it looks amazing. Even though like,
I think Dimuthu had a bit of a framework in mind. So Dimuthu can maybe, as in formula has to go in there, the story has to go in there, but he had a bit of a framework that we can maybe put it in. Dimuthu?
No. Again,
අර වාකිය වීඩියෝ එකට නිකන් ෆ්‍රේම්වර්ක් එක වගේ ඉස්සෙල්ලා මේක දෙන්න පුළුවන් දේවල්.
ඒ කියන්නේ ඉම්ප්ලුසර් කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. ඊට පස්සේ යා නිකන් මොකක් හරි අයිඩියා එකක් දෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ ඇඩ්වර්ටයිස්මන්ට් එකක් හරි නැත්නම් මොකක් හරි එයාගේ සෝෂල් මීඩියා හරහා මොකක් හරි මේ මොකක් හරි කියනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි හිතමුකෝ කොකාකෝලා ඇඩ් එකක් දානවා කියලා. කොකාකෝලා සමාගමට එයා මේ මොකක් හරි ඒ විදිහට කොකාකෝලා වලින් එයාට ඔයාලට මේ සෞඛ්‍ය සම්පන්න වෙනවා. මෙහෙම හොඳයි කොකාකෝලා වලින් අපි හිතමුකෝ උණ නැති වෙනවා කියලා මොකක් හරි කිව්වා කියලා. දැන් ඔයාලා දැකලා ඇති අර මේ දත් බෙහෙත් වල එහෙම අර සුදු පාට කෝට් එකක් නම් මේ සෙන්සිටිව් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඔව් අන්න ඒ වගේ. හරි ඒ වගේ මේ අර ඉන්ෆ්ලුවෙන්සර් දෙනවා. ඒතර සමාජ කට්ටිය ගොඩක් විශ්වාස කරනවානේ ඉන්ෆ්ලුවෙන්සර් මෙයා නම් මේ වගේ. මෙයා කියන දේ ඇත්ත වෙන්න. ඒ වගේ විශ්වාස කරනවානේ. ඊට පස්සේ දැන් ඒ කට්ටිය ඒක විශ්වාස කරලා කොකාකෝලා මේකනේ ගත්තේ කොකාකෝලා දැන් පාවිච්චි කරන් ගන්න. ඊට පස්සේ මේ කාලයක් යනකොට දැන් හොයාගන්නවා මේ කොකාකෝලා වලින් මෙන්න මෙහෙම එකක් වෙන්නේ කොකාකෝලා විසයි. එහෙම කියලා එකක් හොයාගන්න. ඒ වුණාට අර සමාජ කට්ටිය ඒක විශ්වාස කරන්නේ ආපෝ මෙයා මොනවද දන්නේ මේ අපිට කිව්වා අර අපි සර්නේ කිව්වේ එහෙම කියලා අර ප්‍රේම එක ඉන්නවා. තව එකක් මතක් වුණා මේ ඒක නැතුව මේ අපිට තව මේවා ගන්න පුළුවන් මේ ඔන්න දැන් අපිට පුළුවන් මේ ඉස්සලාම අර මේ ඒ ඉන්ෆ්ලුවෙන්සර් කරන මේ කියනවා පෙන්නන. ඊට පස්සේ අපිටත් කියන්නේ බලාගෙන ඉන්න කෙනාට නිකන් හිතෙනවා මේක ඇත්තද කොහෙද කියලා. අන්තිමේටම අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් මේක බොරුවක් කියලා අර නිකන් ඔක්කොම කඩන් වට්ටන්න.
So we are creating a fake news, but at the end of it, we're like, why don't believe everything you see?
ඒතර අර නිකන් කොකාකෝලා මොනාරි මේ දෙකක් කියලා ඒ වගේ නිකන් හිනාන එක නෙමෙයි ඇත්තටම අපි බිලීව් කරන්න පුළුවන් අයිඩියා එකක් දාලා ඊට පස්සේ ඒක මේ
So because we are running out of time, we'll quickly go to the next group and then we'll have a chat on feedback.
So then I think kidney less, so you might have to do both.
Does Sala want to do the thing about advertisements because that was the idea, or should I go ahead with that as well? I'll just start off with the. Okay.
Sala, nice Sala. Sara's here. Yeah, Sara, you maybe you can start with Sara's story. I think that's interesting about the production stuff.
Okay. So when I was like smaller, I used to on TV they used to show those Dove hair product things and Sunsilk stuff that make your hair really silky. and like straight and shiny. I really wanted the shine. So I used to tell my mom to like buy me these stuff, and every time like I had a bath, I would be really upset because my hair wasn't shiny and silky. So I guess that was one of the things. And the next was like those acid rain thing, the acid rain forward message that I think most of us would have got. They were like, don't go near the rain because you would die or something. And I sent that message to one of my friends in Australia. And then the next call we had, she was like, is this true? And I was like, yeah, it is. And she's like, because I asked my friends back in Sri Lanka and they were like, no. And I was like, no, isn't it true? And I sent her the message again and she was like, Sarah, I don't think this is true. But anyway, stay away from the rain. And that's basically what I did for a really long time. But yeah. And
So based on some of what Sarah said about like products and stuff, and I think we had a lot of conversations about advertising and stuff, which is a whole other thing. Like I think the influencer point touches on that, and I think the whole Chinese whispers also came up in our discussions. So Dunit will tell you guys like the two ideas that we came up with, right? So Dunit, you go ahead. So we came up with two ideas.
Yeah, so the first was based on like how advertising itself like kind of exaggerates and distorts information. So it was just like a kind of satirical, like comical representation of like what if you lived in a world where everything that advertisements said like came into life. So it says slim tea and suddenly you're slim. It says you're going to win 50,000 euros in cash when you like forward these messages, and all of a sudden like lots of money on your table. So lots of different aspects of like misinformation all put together on like, you know, the comical basis of how far you are away from the truth by showing like exactly what, like how ridiculous like some of these things are.
So it's like if any of the misinformation advertisements actually came true, and by showing them actually coming true, you realize how ridiculous it is. So.
Okay.
The second one was based on this idea of like the Chinese whisper, which means that when you go through like an information route, how like the initial message gets distorted towards the end, and the representation was to do with, okay, firstly something to do digital, so like a message thread or like a piece of information that someone starts passing around. And in terms of how it gets distorted, we were thinking of basing it on like different personalities and different like aspects of people. So that's to say, based on personality, if it goes to like a very dramatic person, the whole message is dramatized. When it goes to like a very sarcastic person, it becomes all dull and sad. And also like in terms of textiles, like the way you text, is it very eloquent? Do you use a lot of emojis? All of those things. And do you like put official stamps on your messages, be like acknowledge or pass this through, or this is like a very important alert or whatever, until the end conclusion being that thread, the final message gets passed on to the person who sent the initial message, and that person cannot recognize that this was what they sent initially, and just keeps passing it around again and again.
So yeah, it starts off with like a single message, right? So this person sends a message to the friend or whatever, and then as it goes on, it just kind of morphs into something. At some point, someone uses Photoshop, makes it like an official declaration with like you know, with the official stamps and all that stuff. And by the end of it, it comes back to the person who actually sent it, and that person sees it, is surprised like it's new information, and starts forwarding it to someone else.
So it's like a cycle.
Yeah. So we thought like I think we could make it funny with how like different personalities morph it and change it. Another thing we were looking at, I think this is Kipni's idea, like apparently there's a similar scene in The Crown. So there's like the way they show it in that is it's a phone call, but they kind of edit it in a way where, you know, you hear the ringing, people using switchboards and things like that. So in terms of editing, we were thinking of like using notification bells, vibrations of the phone, someone typing and changing on Photoshop, how the thing kind of moves.
Even maybe spoken word, like how it's said.
How it's said. Yeah, actually. And then it gets kind of morphed along the way. That was the idea. I think this whole like Chinese whispers thing was
It's a common thread, no? Yeah, Chinese whisper thing and how it grows. Like there were two ideas of it. One is how the misinformation itself grows, or the person who's doing the misinformation. So I think we have a lot of common threads. Really good stuff, guys.
මට එක විධාරණයක් කියන්න. එක උදාහරණයකට මේ ඔයාලා කියන උත්තරේ මේ දන්න විදිහට විදුලි බල්බය හොයාගත්තේ කවුද? විදුලි බල්බය හොයාගත්තේ කවුද?
තෝමස් අල්වා
එනාට ඔයාලා දන්නවද මේක මේ ලොකු ඉතිහාසයේ ලොකු මිස් ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන් එකක් කියලා. විදුලි බල්බය ටෙස්ලා. අන්න ටෙස්ලා තමයි ඒ කියන්නේ එඩිසන්ගේ සමාගම වුණාට ටෙස්ලා තමයි ඒකේ ලොකු වැඩක් කරලා දෙන්නේ. ඒ වුණාට ඒකේ ඒ කියන්නේ ඒකේ මේ ක්‍රෙඩිට් එක ගත්තේ මේ එඩිසන්. ඒකත් පොඩ්ඩක් කියලා බලන්න.
හැබැයි අන්තිමට මේ පළවෙනි ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික් කාර් එක හැදුවේ ටෙස්ලා.
හරි ඒක මේ
Tesla අන්තිමට වෙච්ච දේ ගන්නද? He went mad and in the end he was talking to pigeons. Yeah, and
he was stuck in his room at some hotel, and he was going mad.
Talking, he was he started talking to pigeons.
Really?
But that story is actually a bit more complicated in terms of
maybe he was on to something.
Because like even Alexander Graham Bell, there were other people, but like what do you really call the first person who invented it? Is it the person who files the patent? Also Tesla's version was like alternating current, while this guy's version was DC current, so that's it's a bit more complicated, but
Janit, you were going to say something.
Just the deep fake thing. So okay, I kind of figured out like what it was, even though it's like a different area. It would just be like a 15-second video of maybe one of us. I think somebody can play guitar here, I'm not sure, but like they're just playing the guitar, and let's say my face is on that person and he's singing something, and I just come in the screen and I like take the mask off, and then we just just like a very small 15-second thing, just to prove a very small point.
That's actually
Sarla plays the guitar, I think. Sarla plays the We have a few musicians.
It's a cool music video idea.
Like nothing to do with digital well-being. Like you could just go cool. Janit hit us up. We should do some.
We should hire Janit as an editor.
You should hit us up. We should make some music videos because Nishan and I do videos and stuff.
I do too.
Nice.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
History of doing video editing.
Nice.
Visual thinker. I think we have a lot of really good ideas, guys. So just to give you a sense, Dunit is kind of our lead director on the misinformation. So I think our next meeting will kind of
I think
sort
Dunit
the ideas and
whoever
come up
else.
with...
So on Sunday we'll actually talk whoever else wants to be on the team. I think we need a director and a writer and a few other writers.
So Dunit, on your end, maybe guys, if you all can like if any of you are like really, once we have the idea like fully down, once we've decided, maybe we can, Dunit, you can kind of scout around for our writers. I think already the privacy group and the cyberbullying group is kind of set on a group. So maybe because we have other writers and performers who volunteer.
Also, so people can share. I mean, like
people
can do multiple.
You can share, absolutely, as long as it's not too much pressure on you guys. So basically, like if any of you want to contribute in any way for the other videos, completely go for it. But just like
actually, we would recommend that,
just because we don't want to overload you guys as well. And then you have, because some of you have already kind of started work with your groups and have a workflow. It might be good to have a workflow within your group. But you can obviously contribute to any of it, as long as it's not too much pressure for you.
And if you're really excited about even this misinformation thing, and you were working on privacy thing, and you feel like you have the time, go for it.
Even if it's to give research, even if it's to give a few write-ups, that's fine. So we'll figure it out with Dunit about what the group will be.
We'll figure it out next Sunday when we all meet up.
We have about a week.
So
Sorry,
during the week, the 5 of us will meet and kind of finalize the final idea, pick one of these ideas or combine a few like we always do. And then next Sunday we'll meet up, we'll share that, develop it a little further, make the team, and then start the work on this just like you guys started the practice and start doing it.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah.
We'll share the recordings and stuff with everyone. We'll also share I think the writing workshop last week. I'll put that up on Discord.
Yeah, yeah. So the writing workshop will be useful again for anybody who missed it, who will be joining the new group to start thinking about how to kind of start writing your ideas. And midweek, I'll get in touch with the other 2 groups just for their work in progress and how I can help you guys develop further and just to see where you're at. So great work, guys.
Yeah. Good job, everyone.
So yeah, keep an eye out on the WhatsApp.
One last thing about kind of like the midweek activity for you guys for addiction. So in 2 weeks, we'll be discussing addiction. What we thought you guys can do is pick an app that is bugging you the most, right? Like that you're spending the most amount of time and try to quit it for 1 day.
Just
right?
1 day.
Just 1 day.
Fully, yeah.
Just stay off of it. Don't uninstall it, nothing.
Yeah,
Keep it on your phone. Just try
Just
to
go
stay away
cold
from
turkey.
it.
Yeah,
Go cold
cold
turkey
turkey
for
1
1 day and see and write down how you feel about it.
Yeah.
Like what sort of withdrawals
Yeah,
symptoms you're feeling, all that stuff, right? And whether you were successful. I mean, you have 2 weeks, so like
So
even
you
if you
have
fail,
a whole 2 weeks to try it out.
even if you fail, you can try another day. Just see if you can do it and write your own observations, like how you felt, what you like. Yeah.
Yeah. So like even if it's like just take a notebook, scribble down whatever you're feeling, what's making you different, and why you want. Because again, this is for you, like from like us as well. Like we're going to try it out as well. So because one part of this is also to really help help figure out what it is that we are struggling with, right? So this is purely for you over the 2 weeks. Just like take a note, like really, like if you're feeling angry, like you really can't do it, just scribble down like what it is you're feeling, even physically, what are you feeling, and what it is in that app. I mean, as you try to go toward that, you'll figure this out as well. What it is in that app that you want. What is it that you just can't do without. So you have 2 weeks to try this out. So have fun. Janit is already having withdrawal symptoms. Just thinking about it.
All right, Rhoda. Thanks a lot. See
Thanks,
you all
guys.
in a week.
Have a great week.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, guys. Bye. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Wrap up, no? We'll meet midweek and have a chat.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yo. A lot else. Bye.
Bye.
That's Sanjay.
Bye.